so I want to just thank you for, well, just for your work in the world, for one thing. And if, you know, when I think about how if I could enroll as an executive in the CEO program, executive MBA program in one of the nation's finest business colleges, and have you teach this curriculum, I mean, that could be a wonderful life-changing opportunity. But if I could not enroll in that, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could just sign up for this program and doing this at home?
Yes.
I actually have a friend of mine who just finished the 52 weeks of this program, and I talked to him last night, and I said, well, so how do you feel?
There are 58 lessons.
I don't mean weeks, sorry.
You know,
58.
you just do this 5 or 10 minute exercise,
Yeah.
just once each morning. You
each morning.
You download a mindfulness spell onto your computer
Yes.
to remind you once every hour just to take 60 seconds to reflect on that lesson. If the lesson moves you, fabulous. If it doesn't click for you, ignore it, move on to the next lesson. It's based on the accumulative research of mindfulness studies,
Yes.
positivity training, positive psychology, and the best strategies from cognitive behavioral therapy. And even there's, you know, some of the leading researchers will say you don't need to spend, you don't even need to go to a teacher or a healer or a coach or a friend to change your behavior, to build better habits, to change your brain. You can do it 5 or 10 minutes
Yes.
a day.
I just wanted to let you know what he told me,
Yes.
because I asked him, how do you feel? And he had created a habit for himself, maybe not every day being perfect, but he said that he did one of your exercises almost every day, right after he brushed his teeth, so that it was, you know, a habit. And I said, well, how do you feel? And he said, you know, I feel so positive that this program is the answer to my problems, because he always had a problem with low self-esteem and fretting and worrying about mistakes he'd made in the past, which made, you know, kept him from, I think, his potential in the future. But he said, what I learned the most was that there's a way that I can make friends with my brain.
Yes.
And I thought, that is amazing. When you mentioned that there just takes small, different ways that we can relate to ourselves. It's called self-nurturing, and you know, the words self-care and self-nurturing are such lovely words. But you know, how does one really get a chance to accomplish that and become proficient at it on a daily basis, and after a period of a few weeks, see the difference? So I just want to thank you on his behalf, and I know that his experience replicates many others that are taking your program. And this is actually a rather new program that you just came out with in last year, like 2014, which is a culmination of the 30,000 and so studies that you have
on
studied
the nature of human consciousness.
On the nature of human consciousness, and really it's the culmination of all the mentoring that you've had over the years, and the studies of decades of study and self-dedication and determination. So I want to just ask you one final question, and then I think what we'll do is bring you back another time in the Cafe of Dreams, where we can maybe go a little bit more deeper and bring our patrons some ideas on how they can we'll give them some more tips in perhaps if you'll come back a second time.
I'd love to.
Would you? So we could come back.
But you have to promise me that you are willing to take each one of these strategies and test it. Don't take my word for it. Share it with your spouse. Your kids will love most of these exercises, with a friend or whatever else. See what happens when you pass it on, because the whole key to transformation is when we become aware of our awareness. This turns on thousands of stress-reducing genes and immune-enhancing genes, and you can actually watch in an fMRI brain scan how different neurons begin to rapidly disconnect from old habits, memories, and patterns, and form new ones.
Excellent, excellent.
Very tiny, very subtle, very easy, very potent.
Well, we just are so delighted to have you here today, Mark. And we're just delighted and can't wait for you to come back another time so that we can go a little bit deeper and a little bit more in detail. So it's not just, you know, having an appetizer as we have today, but maybe we can sit down and have a whole feast of some of the tips that you can bring, that our patrons can really benefit and create some self-nurturing and some ideas toward.
But from my heart to yours and to all of yours, what I wanted to try to share with you about my own personal journey with the mentors and teachers and healers that I've met is that we all have in our past people who have touched our lives deeply. If we take a moment and deeply reflect on that experience, first of all, it will increase self-esteem and confidence in that very moment. But then you can use those burnt-in living experiences from your past and then become those individuals, become the people who moved you and transformed you. And if you drop your ego and you drop your anxiety and just say, I'm going to pass on to you and to you the tiny, small life lessons in the tone of your voice, in the facial expressions you have, the other person's brain will resonate to yours. They will experience your transformation, and that's a transformation for them. And that's how we pay it forward. That's how we become mentors from one heart to the next, to the next.
Thank you for that, Mark. You have just given us a formula for connection in the world, and really perhaps, you know, the most profound answers to world peace. As we close, I wonder if you would just be willing to invite our patrons to think in your own minds for the last minute or so, and if you'll just ding your gong here, and let's all just pay tribute to the mentors that we've had in our lives, and we'll close out the show in that way. Thank you so much for being with us, Mark.
Thank you. Visualization is important, so the more you can visualize that person, the more you can visualize the place where that aha experience took place, whether it's a tiny little insight or a huge transformation, it doesn't matter. Your brain is going to respond to every single joy in your life, every single success, every single aha moment, and give you a boost of dopamine that actually increases consciousness. It brings peacefulness to you. It turns off the worry centers in your brain. Visualize those people and those events that you love, who have touched you deeply in your heart, and re-experience now, for the first time, that aha experience. And as you do so, as you listen to the sound of the bell, turn up the volume so that becomes one of the most enjoyable experiences that you've had all day today and perhaps all week today. And then keep it alive by thinking about it throughout the rest of the day. Have a wonderful trip into your imagination, your memories, and the mentors that have helped make you who you are.